All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 13th of August. Couple of sound checks here. I'm live in 3 rooms this morning: YouTube, my room, and the main room. So it's a good thing I got this brand new fancy Falcon PC system. We can handle the firepower. All right. Good morning, Jim. Good morning, Eric, Robert, Anil, my man Bruce. Yeah, I love the Falcon PC. Mind you, I'm coming from a 2003 Hewlett-Packard, so anything's an upgrade. But all right, guys, good morning. I think we're good here on the audio. What's up, Odie, Mustache John? All right, guys, so quick peek here at the futures. And as is tradition, got the NQ grinding into a brand new all-time high. There was a little scalp here earlier off the 5-minute. Well, maybe a decent scalp, not a little scalp. So yeah, took a little shot out of that, and then I don't see anything fresh here for an NQ or S&P future squeeze. But before the open, let's go take a look here at the leaderboard. And I'll be doing a free demo tonight at 7 o'clock, so come hang out for about an hour. No slides. We're going slideless. But yeah, we'll hang out for about an hour tonight, go through the ranking system here, some of the math behind it. And we'll try to find the next Broadcom. Broadcom was good to us yesterday. But all right, leaderboard says we're in a bull market, so no change there. One little piece of progress this week, better action from Dow Jones and the IWM. We came into Monday, there was a pretty big divergence. Really strong QQQ, strong S&Ps. I think Dow Jones had 12% of max strength. The IWM had maybe 30. They're picking up a bit, and sectors-wise, the bad boys would be healthcare, energy, real estate. Solar is pretty neutral, gold kind of neutral, materials, biotech. Top dogs are the Big 10 basket, XLC. That being a lot of your Google and your Meta, XLK, the SMH, and the XLY. Thinking maybe Tesla's helping out the XLY. What else here? Kathy Wood looking pretty good at 92%. XLP utilities. You've got a few stinkers, but overall pretty good, pretty color participation. And I think until things change here, as far as the Big 10 basket, really for a short-term trade, anybody other than Amazon, I think is a fair shot. Broadcom super strong, Google super strong, Meta's got the perfect score, good looking Microsoft, Nvidia, TSM. Would love a trigger on that brand new TSM daily squeeze. Great progress here in Tesla. I want that trigger on the Tesla weekly. Want to go buy that 400 call for October. Apple's had a good move here. Netflix is making some progress. And then top 20, you have, again, a lot of, big tech, big semis, S&Ps, Lam Research, Morgan Stanley, some Palantir, DoorDash, APP. So if we go look at that top 20 bull on a squeeze watch list, you've got the monthly squeezes in Google, Lam Research, KLAC, and the SMH. So a few of these have that stock sector alignment. KLAC, Lam Research, and then what about maybe a weekly? Okay, so a name like a GILD, which I'm pretty sure is more of a biotech healthcare kind of name. It might check all the boxes, good-looking squeezes. If it's part of healthcare, even a little part of healthcare, we'll find a different pasture. 2-day squeezes in communications, Lam Research. That's pretty solid. Anything with the bright green. Bright green means squeeze, good entry, and all the criteria. And that can maybe be NVIDIA off the 15-minute. Kind of a funky close for NVIDIA yesterday. The pump and the dump. But yeah, so off of that Big 10 watch list, few things I would like to try to buy. I think I'm going to keep the 4-hour and the hourly the focus here for NVIDIA. But we're lacking momentum for the trigger. Big 4-hour squeeze setting up, great trend, good structure. All the compression. If they can't get that MACD back above 0, doesn't mean NVIDIA goes and falls apart. Just tougher to call for timing and direction. Compare that to the Broadcom 4-hour squeeze. That one's a little bit more locked and loaded. Compression, momentum, the structure, all the fixins. So yeah, I want to buy NVIDIA. And I think one of you mentioned we have a 185 call wall yesterday. We'll see if we can get a trigger on either the 4-hour, the hourly, or the 30-minute today. Take them where we can get them. And then for Broadcom, little continuation here for the open. Oh, wow, nice. All right, your pal left a couple of buckaroos on that table. But I'm proud of you, AMD, or Broadcom. And then there was a really, really nice end-of-day 30-minute on AMD, which I think a few of you took. And they're gapping that one into about $1.80. So yeah, we'll see what we can get. I'm not in a big rush to go and chase things, but I'm looking for another Broadcom. So if you guys have another Broadcom, put it in the chat and we'll take a look at it together. And then I'm not looking for shorts in this market. If the leaderboard says bull market, that'll be your bigger, I think, easier plate of opportunity. But that being said, if I'm going to get short, I'm not going to go pick on the biggest guy on the jail yard. Broadcom, Google, Meta. We would look at something like healthcare, energy, Lilybell, ExxonMobil, XLV. Got the Amgems, UNHs. Those are a bit softer. But I'm going to keep the focus for now on the buy side. And then you'll know I'm looking again at that Tesla weekly squeeze. So pre-market Tesla's a little bit on the quieter side. If we can get the trigger, I think it offers just such a good risk reward. Buy it maybe around 345, 350. I think we're wrong back under, call it 320, 315. Target on the squeeze is closer to 400, 425-ish. We'll call it 420. But all right, y'all, we are off to the races. So get a few things all settled here. All right, first order of business, cash indexes. All right, the Q's gapping into a new all-time high of 582.86. And as you would expect on a decent gap up, we're a little bit squeezeless. No fresh 15-minute, no fresh 5-minute, 30-minute hourly, which I would like to wait for a fresh QQQ trade. And then jumping to the spiders. Okay, so they do go ahead and fire that daily squeeze long. The only thing making it a little bit funky, they fire it long when we actually haven't gotten that momentum shift yet. The squeeze says, all right, let's go higher. Structure's in good agreement. The trend's in agreement. Momentum says, I'm not too sure yet. I'll let you know. And then again, no 15-minute or 30-minute, 5-minute. So for an index play, I'm a little bit inclined to wait for another squeeze, which maybe means you're waiting for afternoon, end of day kind of thing. But good action there. And then for the Russell, yeah, they're even trying to get the Russell on board, which I won't trade, but it can't hurt, right? And then the Great Dow 30 with a slingshot daily squeeze, which, as we know, can make for a great move down the road. Can also make for a situation where in the short term, things are just a little bit choppier. But I would say the indexes are pretty good looking. And then the Big 10 basket. For the folks here on YouTube, this is these 10 names. Apple, Amazon, Broadcom, Google, etc. in a weighted basket. And the big thing here as of late has been that daily squeeze, which they officially fire long here at the open. In most cases, they should get continuation towards the third ATR, which can maybe imply on that basket another, in the short term, maybe another 1.5 to 2% higher. All right, S&P's looking pretty good here. QQQ looking sharp. Better Dow Jones, better IWM, and a good Big Ten. But like I mentioned, I would like to find maybe a fresh 5-minute, 15-minute squeeze. Then jump in, think about taking our shot versus buying the gap up, which might work out really well. All right, and then a quick peek here internally. VIX is dead, ticks up and up at plus 1200, and the advanced decline opens at plus 1300. So ticks are all set here. But all right, y'all, leaderboard says you have a really strong big tech, big semis. So let's go work through in order here. Broadcom, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and all the above. See if we can go find a fresh one. All right, Broadcom, nice continuation. That trade will kind of be the centerpiece of the demo tonight. It offers so much edge. So in terms of all the pretty colors, they give you a perfect 4-hour squeeze, compression, the entry, all the criteria. Then yesterday they go and give you the perfect hourly squeeze. At the same time, they give you the perfect 30-minute. They give you the perfect 15-minute. So you got that moment in time where 4 different time frames, in compression, building up energy, good structure, good trend. It all comes together for a good pop. You add way more edge. Am I finding that in the right market? The index is behind it. Am I finding that in the right sector, leadership? Again, take that squeeze we all love, add more edge. Broadcom, a great example of that. And she gives you a little cherry on top here at the open. And until things change for Broadcom in a really big fashion, we'll keep on taking every 4-hour, hourly, 15-minute squeeze we get. And that's my frustration when I end up taking shit. Excuse my French. I'm cursing on YouTube. That's my frustration when I take trades like Kroger. Look at Broadcom on the 30-minute. It's a layup. Not every trade works. Great market behind it. Part of the strongest sector. One of your strongest names in the strongest sector. Then you take your shot. 30-minute squeeze, big breakout. That one didn't work. 30-minute squeeze, big breakout. 30-minute squeeze, big breakout. We want to figure out what are the 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 things I can watch that'll kind of capture everything for me. All right, Broadcom, good pop there. So waiting for our next round of squeezes. And then Google, number 2. Yeah, what's that Tesla doing? Took it off the watch list. Tesla is, yeah. I don't want to jinx it, so knock on wood. Knock on keyboard. I don't know when, of course, but all signs point towards we should get that weekly trigger. And then we're maybe getting Google from a few weeks ago. They pull Google back, they bottom, they pop it, they rebuild. They get better structure, they print the squeeze, they get momentum, turns into the green arrow. Breakout fire and $1.80 into 203 and change. Again, we don't have that trigger yet, but if they can keep on at least printing that blue arrow, it says you should get that green one. From there, I am a buyer of the 400 calls for the birthday push. But all right, guys, Google here. All right, little 15-minute and 5-minute. Not too far from the all-time high. All right, any trigger for the 15? No white arrow, no green arrow, no trigger. We'll maybe get it later on, though. From Google, we jump over to Meta. Nice pop in Meta yesterday. All right, 15-minute, 5-minute Meta. It's a good 15-minute squeeze. It's just not the full 15. Check all the trend, check momentum, check the structure. This is a B plus report card. Clean a couple of things up, get momentum, turn it into an A plus report card. 800 call for Friday, maybe. Let's go price it out. So here's one idea. If we did get that 15-minute trigger, again, white or a green arrow down there, maybe I was going to say you could look at the 800 butterfly for Friday. Me being me, I like buying the 800 call. There's about $17 expected move. But the key with that, of course, is size to accept max loss. You buy it for 350, they rally into 797. They don't go and do that quick enough. You have the max loss. Yeah, I would take a little bit of the Broadcom profit and parlay that into the Meta 800 call for Friday. We don't get a trigger. We can't do such things. All right, and then for Meta, we can jump to Microsoft, Nvidia, and TSM. Qs hold up pretty good here. S&Ps are all right. All right, Microsoft. Anybody home? 5-minute. Good looking 5-minute. I'd like something maybe a little bit bigger. 15 to 30. And we know Nvidia's got a good handful. All right, 15-minute trigger, or 5-minute rather. All right, Nvidia does go and get the 15-minute. Here can be the issue, though. They tried getting the 15-minute back here. Momentum shift, all the structure. Then they pull the thing back in. And that might be because your bigger time frames, your 4-hour squeeze, your hourly squeeze. For that bigger breakout, that bigger move, they're waiting on momentum. Right here's 4-hour Nvidia, squeeze, structure, trend, no momentum. And you've got under the surface a little 5-minute action, 15-minute. They want to get the pop going. And they can get a pop going. If we're trying to buy a path into 190, very tough to get that until you get momentum. Then you've got the full alignment. So I'm thinking here, if anything, they can take that 15-minute, try to get a decent pop going. That decent pop maybe gives us the 1-hour or the 4-hour trigger. Yeah, we can actually. We can maybe get the hourly today. All right, so that'll be on the top of the board. And then a few more here in Tesla and Apple. Okay, one more little confirmation. Tesla's maybe trying to head in the right direction. Fresh buy trigger here on the daily. So if they can keep it, that would imply you've got the structure, the criteria. It's a daily chart trying to shape up for a path of least resistance towards higher prices. I need that. If I'm trying to play for a path into 400 and change, and I want to go and do that off the weekly chart, I need everything in that weekly chart. All right, take that, pop open the hood. I need good looking 3-day time frames, 2-day time frames, hourly charts, weekly, daily, all the above. They're working on it. All right, and then a couple more here in Apple, Netflix, and Amazon. So Apple's tough. I wouldn't fight it. Has a nice hourly squeeze here. We're in a market where third ATR is your new buy zone. Apple's good way to look at it. There's stronger names on the board than Apple. Going to try to keep them the focus. And then the same can be said here for Amazon. Although Amazon does have that brand new monthly squeeze. And Microsoft's kind of your poster child here. What can a monthly squeeze do for you? Pull it back, hold support, print the squeeze, break it out. Nice little 40+% push. So there's your poster child. And we have one, of course, in Google. I think, putting aside a huge market change, this eventually makes Google a $225, $230 stock. They did fire the one we had for the XLK. She done fired, but your target's closer to 280, 285. The big one here, and of course, the SMH, the semiconductor mothership, 325-ish, maybe higher, and then Amazon now. And these aren't 15-minute, 30-minute squeezes. Those can kind of do their thing. Weekly chart, monthly chart, it can be more of a market context. Reason being, you're trying to call for a move that might last for 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 12 months. But again, putting aside some giant, change in market trend, we're maybe looking up in November, December, January. Amazon's a $260, $70 stock. What can I do in the short term? Go buy it on 15-minute time frames, on 30-minute hourly squeezes, daily squeezes. But that's your backdrop. The goal is pretty much, all right, if I can find a moment in time like back here, had a bigger time frame squeeze, went and broke it out. Imagine you're back here for that 1, 2, 3, 4, that 5-month window, buying every good-looking 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze you get. Do they all work? No. But I don't think you ever find a spot for more wind at your back. And again, we got a few of these. But all right, there's a quick run through of the Big Ten in all its glory. And yeah, like I mentioned, I do want to wait for some NVIDIA. It's just I don't want to get caught up in another 2, 3, 4, 5 days of a big 4-hour squeeze. I don't love the fact either. Kind of zoom in here on the NVIDIA daily. They're trying to turn momentum back to the sell side for the first time since late April. Got the positive cross back in late April. We bottom, we pop, we rebuild, we trend. And boy, do we trend. And now for the first time since then, we're trying to get the shift back to the other side. Really good trend, really good structure. Momentum says, all right, I'm tuckered out. I'm tired, I'm beat. I gave y'all 90 into 180. I doubled in about a 12-week window. I maybe got to take a chill pill. Catch my breath, eat my carbs, drink my Gatorade, eat my Wheaties, then maybe gear up for another double. Nothing about that is bearish. It's just maybe a sign of exhaustion. Momentum begins to shift back to the sell side. It's harder to get the action where you buy it on an end of day 15-minute squeeze. They gap it up, you take your profit, you buy it again, they gap it up, you take your profit. We love that kind of action, of course. That requires full alignment. So I don't love that. And again, I don't love the fact they really can't They're not in a big rush to go and fire that 4-hour. During a week where AMD had a big pop, Broadcom had a big pop, makes you wonder, huh? But we shall keep on watching that one at some point, maybe down the road. We are getting Amazon with a monthly squeeze and then waiting for a shot here on Tesla. But rules are rules, and I gotta wait for my spot. Yeah, who took AMD yesterday? Yeah, it's like it's not gonna work every time, but you've got so many things around that 30-minute squeeze that can make that a really good repeatable process. That can be your entire career. 30-minute chart, all the alignment, momentum, trend, and structure, the squeeze, the entry. Very strong market behind it, part of the strongest sector, relative strength. They're hitting that bad boy from a lot of different angles. Good stuff there. All right, indexes are a little bit of a gap in chop. But like I mentioned, for the indexes, in everything really on the gap up, there's that temptation to jump in and want to buy it. I'd rather wait for a dip into a 5-minute squeeze, 15-minute. But I maybe don't get that until later in the afternoon. All right, so one more thing here would be going through a few of the top 20. And looking at that leaderboard, it says you're in a bull market. To me, that means bigger plate of opportunity back on the buy side. But if you're looking for a short, healthcare, energy, you got that top 20 bear. The bears. Lilly, ExxonMobil, NOW, XLV, Energy, IBM, VRTX, Amgen, UNH. Real estate, Visa, Berkshire. A few of these are more neutral. Like I wouldn't call real estate down to Intel a great short. But Lilly, ExxonMobil, NOW, they could be serviceable to the short side. But top 20 bull. Looked at Broadcom, looked at Meta. Let's go check out a few of these Palantirs, Goldmans, DoorDashes, and APPs. I'm watching you, NVIDIA. You ain't gonna sneak off without me. All right, let's go look at maybe anything in Morgan. All right, Morgan, nothing really shaping up on a lower time frame. Good looking chart though. What about Palantir? The gapper and the runner. There's an hourly here for Palantir. And the sheet would say wait for a trigger on any Palantir time frame. Till the rankings change, you got a lot to work with. 116 out of 120 points, good for 97% of its best score. That ain't too shabby. So let's see. Structure, yeah, momentum. We got to find the gas station. That's all we got to find. Palantir, what about some APP and some Dash? I know a few of you guys and gals held it through earnings, which turned out to be a great idea. 1 hour, 30, 15, any immediate trigger. None on the hourly, none on the 30, and none on the 15. But it's a great spot to look for a trade. Good leadership, shows signs of relative strength, grades out nicely. Now you've got compression on 3 lower time frames. But I don't want just compression. I want compression and all that criteria. So if they can turn the current 30-minute squeeze into that 30-minute squeeze, there's your playbook trade. I've got the market behind it. I've got the sectors behind it. I've got the leadership behind it, the ranking, the squeeze, the entry, all the things. But I wouldn't jump in and buy it right now just because it's a highly ranked name. Today might be the day that changes. So it's take that leaderboard, build out the watch list, then wait for the sweet spot. All right, Nvidia back to green. You can't keep a good time down for too long. Broadcom gives back a decent bit of the gap up. My feelings are less hurt now about not holding any overnight. Google pretty quiet, Microsoft pretty quiet, Amazon decent pop, and yeah, it's Tesla's party to lose here. I would pay about 15 for the 400 call. Because ballparking, I think I can double my cash. Beyond $15 per contract, I may be pushed to strikes towards 405, 415. But you could look at maybe 400, 425 call debit spread. You could even look at maybe a 350 put credit spread. And I've got that temptation, jump in, front run that trigger. And when I do that and it works, it feels awesome. All right, I'm early, I'm profitable, I'm catching more of the move most times. But then when the opposite happens, it's like the Bitcoin weekly chart. All right, here we go. I've got my squeeze, my trend, my structure, and I'm going to buy it on the blue arrow. I know I'm supposed to buy it on the white or the green arrow, but I'm going to front run the entire system. I'm going to outthink the system. I'm going to front run it. And I'm long back here, and it's just a pop, a flush. I'm sitting through July, August, September, October, November. November comes strolling along. We finally get the official trigger. Then they go and get the immediate move. I'd rather buy it on that candle, be a little bit late, and then get paid immediately versus, all right, I'm early, and a week goes by, 8 weeks goes by, 12, 15 weeks goes by. Nothing wrong with that. It's not my preference. Too much mental capital tied up. Pay me now. But that's what I think they're trying to do eventually on that Tesla weekly. Chop it, compress it, squeeze it, hook momentum. Fresh tank of gas, or I guess a full battery charge in Tesla's case, and off you go. But I will throw it out there until you get momentum, which you maybe get tomorrow. So I'll admit today could be the perfect entry. But until you get it, these can be a giant pain in the ass. It looks like a breakout pattern. It smells like a breakout pattern. It feels like a breakout pattern. You got one thing saying I'm not on board just yet, and that can make for a lot of this. You pop it, look out, here comes Tesla, and they pull it back. Pop it, pull it back, but we'll be all over it. And I'm sure Henry's got a piece already. So we have one of the better Tesla traders in the game here in the room. You guys will be in good shape. All right, index is just like I would never ever think about fighting that. Like I'm not gonna go short the weekly, daily, 4-hour, 2-hour, hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute, and 5-minute buy trigger. Hey guys, give me 1 minute. I gotta. My mom's calling. Hang on tight. Hey. No, I'm on the mic here, right? All right, sorry. I thought somebody died. Yeah, we're good. It's the fridge guy's coming soon. My mom calls. Honey, are you okay? Where's your father? It's like, what happened? The fridge guy's coming. Okay. Good to know. Where were we? I'm totally thrown off now. We were looking at the QQQ. Yeah, you can't send mom the voicemail. If you get that phone call from mom, you're very lucky. All right, so yeah, I'm not finding anything to do here on the indexes. So that being said, you guys know what I'm looking for. Watching NVIDIA, watching for re-entries on Broadcom, AMD, watching Google, waiting for a shot there on the Tesla. But all right, y'all, anything you got for me, any chart requests, anything you want to look at, pop it in the chats, and I'll get caught up with you here. Picking my spots wisely. My theme for the next 12 months is less trades, more size, and less is more by watching more, which kind of sounds counterintuitive. But for that Broadcom trade where I figure out, all right, I got a great setup in the ideal market, in the ideal sector, all those layers of edge. That sheet's looking at about 4,200 different things across the 10 Big 10 names, the 5 indexes in these 20 sectors. Right, looking at 35 different tickers, looking at 8 different time frames. That's an ugly little 8. And across your 8 time frames, looking for 15 different directional criteria. Does that work? Spits it back and says, all right, you want to go short healthcare, you want to buy some big tech, you want to do nothing with solar. And like I mentioned, these kinds of things drive me crazy. So I try hard to figure them out. Why is it when I take that Broadcom trade on these kinds of, it's a really, really high win rate. And then when I do it on the crap like Procter and Gamble, a Boeing, General Motors, GameStop, Marvell, Starbucks, where we're dropping from a 77% win rate to only 52. Well, we'll talk about that tonight in that demo. But I think that's a difference. These were good looking setups. And then by default, these kinds of names tend to have a lot of alignment. Take Google. So Google, as of late, had beautiful monthly squeeze, really clean weekly squeeze, perfect alignment, all the buy triggers. It also had and has a very strong QQQ above it. It has and had a very strong XLK. You've got the XLC cranking, its peers are cranking. Again, way more edge versus let's go run a scan and find a nice setup. And that was getting pretty frustrating. I'm doing the same things, getting different results. So now we got a process in place. But all right, y'all, I'll get caught up in the chat here, see what you got for me. And yeah, let the market work it out here. The gap in the camp, as Sam would say. I'd be looking for fresh 5-minute, 15-minute squeezes as they get presented. Yeah, moment of silence for the fridge. All right, Dandy watching McDonald's. And then folks on YouTube, I'll check out the chat there as well in a moment. All right, Mickey D's. I don't have anything immediate. Weekly squeeze could heat up, but you got to get momentum. Has shifted to the sell side, and then the daily squeeze. It's at a great buy zone. 21 EMA, 200 SMA. You can dump it back below 300. So it's a spot, I think, a good risk reward, but I don't have the A plus on a 30-minute, a 15-minute, a 5-minute. But I think a good spot to look for it, Danny. That 301, 302, that becomes your launching pad. They go cranking out 15-minute squeeze for you, the 30, the hourly. That could be the launcher. The launcher off the pad. Hey, what's up there, Cynthia? Happy Wednesday. Coinbase. Yeah, how's iBit? iBit would be not bad, right? There's stronger names, there's weaker names. The iBit. Let me go check that one out first. Not to be a broken record, tricky spot. You're at the high, you're at the breakout point. You're at the the one level everybody and their mom is watching. And you've got 3 out of the 4 things we need for a breakout and a big leg higher. You have compression from your daily squeeze. You have bull trend, you have bull structure, you don't have bull momentum. They're going to go and do it whatever they want to do. This is just one point of view from one indicator. But for that repeatable process, again, these can be tough. Everything looks and feels like a breakout. If they can get momentum back on board, it should be a breakout. If they can't get it on board, what we'll see a lot is they'll pump it to the breakout point. They'll do a great job of painting that picture. Come on in, buy your calls, water's warm. Everybody on the bandwagon, rope them in, and then they pull the rug. Doesn't mean the squeeze goes and breaks short. Just means you're maybe not ready for another big leg higher. All right, here we go. We're going for it. They're working on momentum. They never got it, and you work back down. They pop, they pull back. They get momentum, they get the move. So that being said, jumping to the coin. I think the chart of iBit looks a little bit better than the chart of coin. So for coin, I wait for a few closes back above that daily 21 EMA. All right, there's your use the rocket ship analogy. 21 EMA, there's your launching pad. So you want to get price back above the launching pad. And then your quote unquote rocket fuel would be a 30-minute buy trigger, an hourly, a 4-hour, a daily. Launching pad, rocket ship, and rocket fuel. Maybe getting liftoff. Right now, we're not even on the pad, and they're working on the fuel. I would wait for that, though. I'm going to guess MicroStrategy is probably in the same crypto boat. Yeah, just choppy. Just choppy. Can I check BABA and AMD? Yeah, I got you guys. You know the few things I'm trying to wait for. BABA. Doing my job would mean I'm taking my profit today. Found the squeeze, got the green arrow. 15 criteria, got the good entry. If I did my job, and I don't watch BABA, but if I did my job, I'm taking profit today. Bought it at the buy zone, caught the pop towards the extension. I'm maybe taking half the profit. I'm taking all the profit. I'm going to parlay some. But not my spot for, all right, now I'm going to jump in. Now I'm going to kick off my campaign. And now I'm up here buying BABA super aggressively. If I am taking a fresh idea up here, it's continuation. So I'm patient. I do nothing. I wait for the next 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze. Then I figure out, all right, how much more gas in the tank you got? If you caught the pop, you caught a great one, though. And then AMD, wow. Guys, there's so much I'm missing, which is it's great news for all involved. Like when I'm done with webinar slides and all that kind of prep work, just wake up, have my 10 names. pretty much, forget everything else. End of day 30-minute, end of day hourly. It won't work every time. I think you do that 100 times in a row, given all the context around it. So it's a profitable strategy. All right, keep on working through here. Yeah, so AMD. If you caught it, you caught a really, really nice move. For a guy like me who did not catch it, I got to wait for another bus here. Could be a pullback into the 4-hour squeeze. Could be my next 15-minute, 30-minute, 5-minute. But no, she's a strong one. Oh man, jeez. The plot continues to thicken. So now on the AMD monthly chart, we're getting a squeeze and the white arrow. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. Bigger picture thinking, unless things change. This can turn this into a $250+ stock. Compression meets your trend, got the structure, got the ingredients, and yeah, give it enough time. I want you guys to keep these bigger time frames in mind. If we do wake up some morning soon, S&Ps are pulling back, the QQQ's down 2%, we're back to daily 21 EMAs. Keep that backdrop in mind. Unless the market really gets hammered, you've got Google's, Amazon's, SMH's, AMD's, LRCX's, XLK's. They point towards that move actually just getting going. I can't look at the SMH and think, yep, that's all she wrote. She's all done now. I'm not saying we don't get a good pullback, and I selfishly would love a good pullback, but across any time frame. Just got the breakout. Squeeze hasn't even fired yet. You're going to get the ebbs and flows, the pullback, the chop, but bigger picture, I can't look at that and think, yeah, the move is over. If we look back in a year from now, the SMH is trading for $400 and change. We're going to look back and say, yeah, you had the pattern for it. Short term, I'm thinking 325-ish. But I would love one more good pullback for the boys back home. One more pullback, chop it around for a bit, get some daily squeezes going, weekly squeezes going. Then we take action, load the boat, and it's a beautiful Q4. If I could wave the magic wand. Yeah, good patience here on NVIDIA, guys. Again, I really want it, but does it want me? Yeah, these are by far the most frustrating squeezes to trade. Everything for a breakout but momentum. It's kind of the big one we need. Yeah, I got to go meet this fridge guy after. He's the talk of town today. Oh, Lanetta, awesome. All right, Lanetta had some AMD, awesome. All right, Mark watching Urban Outfitters. How we doing on time here? All right. Q's coming a little bit, S&P's coming a little bit. Tesla's down a bit off the highs. I'm keeping my cash tight for now. All right, Urban Outfitters. Awesome 3-day squeeze. Momentum, structure, trend, 15 points, compression. Earnings may be a few weeks down the road. That, of course, becomes a big question mark. But no, that's a nice squeeze. What about maybe the 2-day? Even better. Same criteria. A little bit better of the entry. Very good. And then daily in the 4-hour. Okay, so your daily chart's doing that whole momentum thing. The old Momo thing. And then 4-hour chart, kind of the same. From a 3-day squeeze and a 2-day squeeze perspective, it's really, really clean. I like it, Mark. Yeah, good morning there, Bill. All right, quick peek at the indexes. Okay, we are pulling back to a 5-minute 21. So now potentially we pull back, we chop, we print another 5-minute squeeze. Then figure out, can I give you another leg higher or not? To fire or not to fire? Checking the S&Ps here. Big 10 basket. If the QQQ can't hold the 5-minute 21, there may be room for a little bit lower. NVIDIA down about 1%. Broadcom goes red. Google flat. Meta quiet. Microsoft quiet. Netflix is flat. Decent Amazon. Decent Apple. Good Tesla. A little bit of everything today. Okay, we got Snowflake, Fig, and RGTI. Little pop here in VIX off the low. VIX says hold your horses. All right, little pop in VIX. Ticks are pretty good. Advances, decliners, not too bad. I don't see anything that says, hey, here comes an immediate flush. More of a hurry up and wait spot for me. Okay, Hood and Fig. Good example of what I'm talking about. Everything for the breakout except momentum. Whoa. We're getting real up close here. Everything for the breakout except momentum. The structure supports it. The trend supports it. The squeeze tries to support it. All right, here comes your push. Here we go. Big breakout. They never actually go and seal the deal. They never go and get the official momentum cross. And you get the failed breakout. Doesn't mean the squeeze breaks short. Doesn't mean you jump in and buy puts. Just means it's maybe more of the same. They'll flush it. They'll pop it. All the glorified back and forth. Then they'll figure out down the road what they really want to go and do. But again, you jump in, you front run the official trigger. It all begins to work, and then right back where you started. That can happen. That will happen on the official trigger. It's just, it happens a little bit less. Look at Hood here on the 4-hour. Big 4-hour squeeze all throughout back there. All throughout back there. Good structure, good trend, big squeeze. No momentum. Nothing really happens. They go get good momentum. Now they can take advantage of compression in the uptrend, good structure behind it. They can go use all the other variables. Till you get momentum, you're a little bit just capped. So in the short term, just some patience here for Hood as it chops around, and overall bullish daily squeeze. All right, NVIDIA going a bit lower here. Yeah, D, great management there on AMD. You can't go broke taking half off for a double, as they say. And then iCup, looking at some snowflake calls for September. It wouldn't be my pattern. I'll admit, guys, I've got no patience. So I want to try to trade in a fashion that reflects that. I admire a guy like a Henry, a guy like my dad. They can play that longer, bigger picture game. So Henry's the kind of guy where he's nailed that short-term approach. But he can also put on the patience cap. He'll go buy some Tesla for December. You're not going to hear the guy panic on a 2% gap down tomorrow morning. He's an example of being very good at both ends of that game. I like, all right, it's Friday. Here comes Broadcom on the 4-hour squeeze. Can you give me a paycheck in 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 days? So the entire system is based around how can I find that moment in time? Not, hey, here's a good trend. You got a big squeeze, but buy some time, come back and check in 6, 9, 12 months. That game can work out beautifully. For me, I like to hit in the run. Right, take my profit, and then I'm going to go and turn the profit over again and again. Reason I say that is looking back at Snowflake there, I don't have that moment in time. There's a 1-hour squeeze, but we have a -6. There's a 30-minute that has -4. And then the daily squeeze itself grades out as a -5. And we're all different, of course, right? So my mileage can vary. My track record would say don't take that trade and wait and go put 10 times more cash into my go-to setup. I could buy $1,000 worth of Snowflake today, do that 100 times in a row. I don't think I'm going to have an account left. I could take $10,000, right, 10x the size, buy the Broadcom 4-hour chart 100 times in a row. That's proven to be very profitable. But what's the entire key there? I've got my thing. I've got my one thing. I got the entire the framework around that one thing. That's what it comes down to, guys. So the beauty of the room here is you've got I don't know the exact number. Hundreds of years of combined experience, different outlooks, different points of view, different indicators, strategies, approaches. But you'll notice it might be Roggy, Danielle, could be Cody, Allison, Sam, John, Henry, Neil, David, all the above. We've all kind of got that one, maybe two things. What does that let you do? It lets you say no to like 90% of the things you're going to see every week. On my Big Ten watch list alone, right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's like 20 different squeezes. I can look at that and say, all right, maybe one of them fits that criteria. There might be 20. Can I say no to about 18 or 19? Really narrow down that pack. So that's the key. When you look at that chart, whether it be that snowflake chart, is there something in the pattern, the trigger, the structure, anything on that chart that points towards, hey, if I do that repeatedly for the rest of my trading career, I'm going to make a lot of money. And that's a matter of having done that, hundreds and hundreds of times in a row. Got to have your thing. And then Visa and Affirm. All right, guys, 9 minutes on the shot clock. You guys have heard JC say it before. You want to look at a chart and in like a tenth of a second figure out, should I take it? So here comes the Visa weekly squeeze. I'm not taking it. I don't got to look at okay, where's my 21 EMA? Where's the 50? Do I have stacked EMAs? Which way is my 200 SMA pointing? I don't have a white or a green arrow. I don't have a white or a green arrow. I don't have a green label over here. That label's not green. And they all point back towards that same thing, that one moment in time. It doesn't work every time. I had the moment in time back here. Big time push, had it back here. Big time push. They kind of dropped the ball that time around. But we don't care about a 2 or a 3 trade sample size, 50, 100, 500 trades in a row. So it's the thing I think I'm the most excited about is with the indicators, the leaderboard, having that do all the work and keep that focus for me. This could become more so the 20% of the game. Yeah, I don't gotta run hundreds of scans, go through charts, take my checklists. That'll do that work for me. I can make that now the 20%, and the 80% is I'm reading, trading in a zone. I'm working on that mental game. I'm taking notes. I'm doing trade review. The things that are actually the most important. Makes sense, my friends. All right. AMD's on steroids. Nvidia is tired. Broadcom back down. Tesla's strong. Waiting on my squeezes. And then you had a firm. No squeeze here, but it does look pretty good. It's a nice chart. All right, Norman here on YouTube. What's up, Norman? Apple had the hourly. Yeah. So here's where I can have my opinion. It's too overbought. It's extended. Blah blah blah. And the leaderboard says, with no opinion, Apple comes in eighth place. It's at about 82% of its best possible score. You do have better names, but it grades out nicely and is a really solid hourly squeeze. Got it like that. Any thoughts on BTC? What's up, Anil? Thoughts on the old Bitcoin? All right, on the map of the squeeze, like the map in the food court, we are potentially right back here. What do we have? We have compression from our daily squeeze. By default, we already have a little edge. Everything's compressed, everything tightened. It's fixing the bust and move here sometime soon. Now we got to figure out through structure, momentum, all the ingredients, is that a squeeze breaking out to the upside or a squeeze breaking short for a flush? Right now we have the structure for a push, the trend for a push. A lot like back here, you don't have momentum. Back here took us from early July until early June into early July. 1 week goes by, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks goes by. They finally give you momentum. All right, here's your Lamborghini, and you finally got a fresh tank of gas. All right, jump in, start it up, launch control, and off you go. So I think we're there. If they can get momentum, give that Lambo that fresh tank of gas, they can go and get a nice breakout. If they can't do that, it might be a lot like back here. Looks, feels, smells like a breakout. One really important thing missing. And then what would the ticker there be for Ethereum? What's up, Cole? Cole watching some NBIS. Whoops. Okay, so nice move here. But up here at the extension, I would look for lower time frame plays. They could pull it all the way back to $60. It still remains a good looking chart. I don't want to take on that $10 pullback. So if I could find it on maybe like a 15-minute squeeze, I found my edge and I can keep my risk in check. So good spot for a continuation play. And then Ross, what's up, Ross? Good to see you. My friend Ross from Twitter, USAR. Nice move. Nice move. Most times that'll be the easier part of that push. Off that 21 EMA towards that third ATR extension. There's a weekly squeeze behind it, so maybe they want to go for more. But in the absence of a pull back to that daily buy zone, 15-minute squeezes, 30-minute hourly, then you come in and carve out your spot. Doing that on an overall, very strong name. ETH, okay, that was a Should have known that one. Okay, here we go. Ethereum, yeah, same thing. Super, super strong. But I can't buy a big position up here and sit through a pullback to 35. They want to print another 15-minute squeeze, a 30-minute, anything on that lower time frame. Jump in and you see how high is high here in the short term. Yeah, really strong though. Strong leg bull. And then Brian, what's up, Brian? Oracle. I got some squeezes here, a daily, a 4-hour, a 2, a 1, and a 30. I love the hourly. And notice how I know I loved it in about half a second. Green arrow, green label. Got what I'm looking for. Maybe the 30-minute. Same thing for the 30-minute. And then the 4. Waiting on momentum. They're working on it there from the ground up. Could maybe be a little bit like Nvidia though, where that 4-hour squeeze is more so keeping things trapped. With any luck, guys, we'll get a brand new daily squeeze here for the one they call Nvidia sometime soon. But all right, peeps, 1 minute left here on the shot clock. And yeah, good patience on Nvidia. I want to buy it, but no trigger. Patience paid for now. Looking for spots in Tesla, back in Broadcom. At some point, looking for another shot at AMD. Good work to those that caught it. But yeah, good session. I appreciate everybody's time. And let me grab a link for the hangout tonight. But yeah, come hang out tonight. No slides, no slides. Just hang out, talking charts, go through a few of the rankings here, talk about a bit of the math behind it. And then what I'll do is I'll give you guys a copy you can take home for yourself for a few weeks. So I'll grab a link for that. See you guys later tonight. BYOB. Okay, Lorna put it in the alert. So folks on YouTube, just drop that in that chat for you. All right. Oh yeah, my pleasure, guys. Good time. But all right, y'all. Thank you again. Finish up strong here, and I'll see hopefully all of you later tonight. Adios.